Star Wars 7x7 episode 1876. It's happening. D23 Expo is kicking off today, and there have been some final details announced at the last minute, which are worth your attention as we get into the magic. Let's go. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. So, D23 is off and running. Today is the big day. Later on today, there's going to be a panel about the Mandalorian and a couple other things that are worth noting. But the exhibition floor has opened up already, and we know this for a start. On display are costumes from the Mandalorian, so that's pretty cool. And there's also a display for the Star Wars themed hotel that's supposed to open up at Galaxy's Edge in, who knows how long, a couple years or so from now. I don't think we've heard an official opening date just yet. But what's depicted is actually the Star Cruiser that you are staying on. In other words, the whole thing is supposed to be an immersive environment where you are in space, and now we find out that you're on a Star Cruiser called Halcyon, which is run by Chandrila Starline, and that's where the hotel takes place, if you will. So you'll get to see a model of it if you go looking for photos of the event. In fact, I'll probably end up posting some of them on our own social media channels, so keep a lookout for those there. The folks at Disney also announced that they will be live streaming a selection of panels from the D23 Expo. Unfortunately, they're not streaming the ones that are probably the ones that people are most rabidly frothing over, for lack of a better way of putting it. So the Mandalorian panel will not be streamed, and the movie panel on Saturday morning will not be streamed either. What is going to be streamed that is Star Wars related will be, for example, the Disney Legends panel that's happening on Friday, and two folks in that panel are being honored as Disney Legends who are related to Star Wars, one of them being Jon Favreau, who's probably at this point being made a Disney legend more for his work on, The Lion King and the Jungle Book and things like that, but that's okay. And James Earl Jones, who, in addition to Star Wars, also The Lion King and other projects too. So yeah, there's your first Star Wars tie-in that's happening with the D23 live streaming panels on Friday. And then on Sunday, we have Heroines of the Disney Galaxies. That's going to feature Ashley Eckstein moderating a panel with special guests featuring empowering female characters from Disney and Marvel, Lucasfilm, and more. Ashley Eckstein is, of course, not only the founder of Her Universe, the awesome clothing line, but also the voice of Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Now, we also talked about the trailer for The Mandalorian and the fact that that is going to be debuting later today. One of the things that, I haven't been able to pin it down the way that I want to, but it does seem like we are, I'm not going to use the word confirmed, but we are near to such a concept for getting behind the scenes footage from The Rise of Skywalker during the D23 Expo. It seems like the place where that would occur is in the film slate panel that's happening on Saturday morning. And that's where similar footage debuted from The Last Jedi in 2017 during that D23 Expo. So I don't know, I can't find the source and can't get it to a place where I really, truly trust what I'm reading online, but it does seem like The Rise of Skywalker is going to have some behind-the-scenes footage appear at D23, and it seems like it's lined up for Saturday morning. And there is another panel during Saturday that is currently a mystery, or has been a mystery, but it seems like a little bit of light is being shed on it finally. And it's going to be Star Wars related, probably to some degree, but it's not related in that kind of storytelling sense. What it is a project called One Day at Disney, where there will be a book and a documentary following all sorts of different Disney employees through one spectacular, ordinary day in in their lives, or at least that's what the general presumption is about it. So yeah, it's not going to be like, oh my gosh, they're announcing a new Star Wars story, they're announcing something like that. No, sorry, that's not what's happening. So anyway, today the big thing on tap is the Mandalorian, and we will absolutely be keeping track of that and dissecting every last bit of footage that is revealed to us for it. So get ready for that. And for now, well, there's one other thing I want to talk about that's not D23 related that was announced, and we'll get to that after the break. Stay tuned. This episode is brought to you by Constant Contact, the premier email marketing solution for small businesses and organizations. I've used their service since 2003, and over the past decade and a half, I've watched them evolve, make the product simpler, more powerful, easy to use, and do everything that they can to help train people to use the product more effectively and for it to work with other forms of marketing like social media, for example. So check out sw7x7.com/email to learn more about Constant Contact and start a free trial. Once again, that is sw7x7.com/email for a free trial. Welcome back. So Marvel Comics, which actually has a panel at D23 as well, is ending the run of the flagship title Star Wars after its 75th issue. That's coming out not too long from now. It's going to be, I think, about a month before The Rise of Skywalker when that ends. But apparently they're going to announce something new. This kind of does raise a bit of a question on the order of, well, what does this mean for all sorts of other Star Wars media? You know, we know the Skywalker saga is ending as of The Rise of Skywalker, but what does that mean for all these other stories and stories that are happening in and around the Skywalker saga? I mean, even if you go, on the presumption that Rey is not a Skywalker, Finn is not some crazy Skywalker that we had no idea about, right? That Ben Solo is the only Skywalker-related person, so on and so forth. The stories of Rey and Poe and Finn could go on and past what ends as the Skywalker saga and not be related to the Skywalker saga. So does that mean that we're going to get stories told after the events of the Rise of Skywalker? Is that how the story is going to continue in books and comics and so forth? Or are they going to double back and start filling in the 30 years in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens? Or are they going to start prepping us for whatever Benioff and Weiss and Rian Johnson might have on tap? That would be rather interesting too. So that's a whole other discussion, but suffice it to say, Star Wars, the flagship title for Marvel Comics, is ending its run in just a couple of months and just a month before The Rise of Skywalker debuts. And as that door closes, another one is going to be opening very soon after. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they have in store for us with that. And that is today's show. So hang tight for Mandalorian coverage coming up. And for now, it just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for this episode, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
This podcast is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox. It is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other related Star Wars items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2019 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.